Well, hey there, it's that coding guy here, breaking it down and making it accessible. Let's talk about Git commits. If you've missed my previous videos on Git, go check them out. We've got some on Git status and Git add and Git init, and there's a whole Git playlist. So if you need to get caught up, go check those out. But for commits, I like to think about them as save points in a video game. The more save points we have, the easier it is to go back to a previous place. And so let's even break it down as to what a commit actually is. It's a group of changed files, one or more. And we basically save that as a version of our software that is distinct, and we'll check that out in a minute. They've each got like a unique identifier, and so it can be one change to one file, it could be a bunch of changes to one file, it could be a bunch of changes to many files. So those commits will have an author, a date and time, and an ID associated with them so that we can tell one commit from another. And generally, we'll be pushing those commits up to branches, which will have one or more commits on them. So I think it's very common as I help train people in Git and software development. I see it over and over again. I can't commit. Nothing's working. So I'm not going to commit anything right now. I'm just going to keep working. That is a recipe for bad juju, bad things. Because if it takes us a few days to get stuff working, we haven't committed in all of that time. And if we happen to have a hard drive failure, we could have lost days of work that was complex. We were scratching our heads on it. We slowly worked through it, and all of that could be gone. So it is absolutely critical. I coach people on this all the time. Minimum commit and push at the end of every single workday, or study day, or whatever you may be doing. At minimum. Doesn't matter if it's broken, it could be on fire, nothing works. Push, commit and push anyway. Get your work up there safe in the cloud, just in case of a laptop getting lost, stolen, damaged, what have you. This is absolutely critical, especially on teams in a professional environment. We get the code up there and safe. Other people can check it out. So that's the minimum. More is always better, and you can never have too many commits because there are ways to smush them all together. And, if somebody submitted their work and there's 300 commits on there, okay, perfect. Let's do that. So you don't think about in those terms. I can't push right now. It's not working, and I can't have too many commits. There's no such thing. So let's take a look at how to actually do this using Git. Now that I've waxed poetic long enough. All right. This is actually picking up from my ad video. So I'm going to do a quick Git status here. And we can see that I have several files that have been tracked. Their changes are being tracked by Git because I previously ran the add command, and that's why they're showing up in green on my Git status. So these guys are all ready to commit now. So we'll do git commit -m and open up some quotes. And this is where we're going to put a helpful message. It's a common meme and a joke between programmers that, maybe we'll just have testing and we'll have 5 commits all with the same commit message testing or updated or something. Those are not necessarily helpful. Although you may just throw one in as like end of day save or something like that. But generally, for best practices, you're going to want to describe what you did, but not how. So we'll say added file 1, file 2, and file 3. Oops. So that way, when I go back in a couple of weeks and I look at this, I can tell exactly what this commit accomplished in the code base. So it's great to think about it from a third person perspective there. What are the things that we did here? Describe this set of changes. A commit is a set of changes. So cool. Once that's done, we can hit it. And we've created that commit there. So how do we know that we did that? Well, git log is our friend here. Git log shows a list of all commits on the current branch. My current branch is main. You can see that in all of my commands here. And we're looking at the log of all the commits, and I've only got one. So we talked about a commit having a unique identifier. This is it right here. This is the identifier for this commit. It is unique in the project, and it is usually referred to as a hash or a SHA. SHA is one of the algorithms for hashing. And we can also see that this commit has an author associated with it. Hey, it's me. It's that coding guy. I also had set up my Git so that it's associated with my email address. So that is included on my commit. This helps tell who authored it, especially on big enterprise teams or open source projects. We can know who to contact in case something goes wrong. And then we've also got the timestamp, and then we see the commit. So if we had a bunch of commits on here, they would each have their own metadata about that commit. And if we were to push this now, I'll go ahead and do that, because remember, committing is a local operation in Git. So to get this up there and safe in the remote, we've got to push it. And as always, I recommend we type out the full command here, git push origin and my branch name. Other people will push upstream or something like that. I want to know which branch I'm pushing to every single time. I've got tab for autocomplete. I'm not worried about breaking my fingers by typing a few extra characters. So git push origin main. I know that guy is headed up to main. That is a new branch there. How do we know it worked? Well, that's a success message. We didn't get any errors. Also, this is my GitHub for this repo. It's public. And it had nothing in it a second ago. But if we refresh it now, we'll see that this repo now has file 1, file 2, and a folder with file 3, just like we expect. And there's really not a lot of content in these guys at the moment. So that's it. And we can view the same data that we did in our Git log by checking out this branch. So if we look at the commit here, we can see that here's the author. The date time is here. It's formatted very nicely with how long ago it was done. But if we hover over it, we can see that there. And then that SHA, that hash identifier code it's truncated here. I think there's a way to copy it if we had to right here. Copy the full SHA if we needed to. And then we can use that in various ways in our Git console and things like that. So cool. Now my work, as important as it is up on the remote. It's saved in the cloud. GitHub is going to worry about the safety of that guy. And now I can rest easy knowing that if something happens to my machine, all my work is up there. So that's commits. Hope it helps. Cheers.